and I project managed the development of the Lake District Design Code. We worked collaboratively with LUC, our appointed consultants, to develop and adopt the Lake District Design Code. Just for some context, the Lake District National Park is located in the northwest of England, and we have a resident population of approximately 40,000 people. The scale of change and nature of development is really small and incremental in the Lake District. We aim to deliver only 80 new dwellings a year, but we do receive a lot more planning related applications, ranging from agricultural development to householder applications, conservation and listed building applications as well. So we needed a design code to provide advice to help achieve high standards of design in all development proposals. We were quite lucky that we have a relatively up-to-date local plan that was adopted in May 2021. And to support the key themes in our design code, we have a really important policy hook in the local plan, which is our policy 06, design and development, that aims for design excellence in all development. So the design code was adopted in September 2023 and has been applied to applications since then. The code centres around 4 key themes: distinctiveness of place, local character and heritage, biodiversity net gain, climate change, beauty, design principles, materials, and well-designed homes. The code focuses on new housing, but does also address conversions, extensions, and shop fronts as well. So far, the code is proving to be a useful guidance tool for both our development management team and applicants. Our planning team have a tool to direct applicants to so that they can find out more information about the design of new developments. Frequently, our development management team are advising applicants to withdraw applications that feature inappropriate design and to resubmit an application that follows the principles of the design code. And there's an example on screen now of an application that was withdrawn and consequently resubmitted and approved. And as you can see, the design is much more in keeping with the design of developments in the Lake District. I've got some statistics to share with you on the next slide, but we are seeing that approved applications are generally compliant with the code, which is really positive to see. And the code is also providing additional information to support many of our local plan policies.
How much is the ticket for tonight?
Oh, I'm getting a bit of feedback. It's all right, it's gone now. So yeah, the code is providing additional information to support many of our local plan policies, which enables our development management team to provide additional context and information to refuse applications that are of an inappropriate design. Our code is accompanied by a series of checklists for each development type, and we have anecdotal evidence that these checklists are useful for some applicants, but in most cases we're not seeing applicants submitting their checklists alongside their planning application. But this is probably because we chose not to make the design code checklists a validation requirement that just provides us with a bit of flexibility in the future to update these checklists as and when is needed. The design code has also been referenced in a few appeals. In most cases, the code's been used to support the appeal decision, but we do have one example where the inspector has disagreed with the planning officer's application of the code, and consequently the appeal was allowed. So it's really interesting to see how different people and inspectors are interpreting the code. Oh, I thought my next slide was... Oh yes, no, it's fine. This is the right next slide. To monitor the use of the code, we have adapted our existing local plan monitoring system. This system is very numerical and only provides relatively high level kind of information about applications. It's purely really just the number of applications approved and refused relating to each of the policies. So through this system, we're monitoring the number of applications that were approved in support of the code, the number of applications approved contrary to the code, and then the number of applications refused in support of the code and refused contrary to the code. This high-level monitoring allows us to establish whether approved applications are compliant with the code and to establish trend data over time. We are also using this system to monitor Section 73 applications to ensure that subsequent changes to the design of buildings remains compliant with the design code. And as I said a second ago, I am also tracking the use of the code in appeal decisions to understand how the inspector has interpreted and applied the code. And finally, I frequently ask our development management team for applications where the code's been particularly useful to develop case studies that help support the implementation of the code, because essentially the information that we're gathering through the system that we've already got in place is just so high level, and it would take me a very long time to look at each application in detail. So our development management team are a key player in the monitoring of the code. So as I've already said, to date, the code is having positive impact. Of the applications that were compliant with the code, 98% of applications were approved even, not refused, and only 2% were refused, but these were for reasons other than design. And all applications contrary to the code were refused. But this wasn't the case for Section 73 applications. We have got 2 Section 73 applications that were contrary to the code that have been approved, which is also quite interesting to see. So as a result of monitoring and ongoing engagement with our development management team, we've recently made several changes to the extensions and alterations chapter of the code. We were finding that applicants and development management team were struggling to interpret and apply several of the illustrations in this chapter. So internally, we've worked collaboratively with our development management team to amend these illustrations and to improve them, improve the supporting text that accompanies them, just to make them easier to understand and for us to apply in practice. On screen is one change that we made to the overlooking and overshadowing illustration, and there's text that supports the points 3 and 4 that are shown on the screen there that explain in more detail what is meant by overlooking and overshadowing and how this can be avoided in developments. And the updated and revised code is scheduled for adoption at committee in a couple of weeks. So finally, to finish off with some key recommendations, my biggest takeaway would be to engage with your development management team to understand where the code is having the greatest impact. For us, it's really been essential for development management team to be involved, to find out how the code can be revised, to gather those case studies and really understand in more detail how they're applying the code and how things like the checklists are being used. And also just to ensure that monitoring is simple and straightforward and not time consuming. Keeping it quite high level works for us at the moment, and then just being able to pick out key case studies has been really helpful for us. And that's it from me. Thank you.